Okay, guys, welcome, boys, to Nervous Rex. I'm sitting here with Chris and Miles from the Bad Suns. Bad Suns or the Bad Suns?
Whatever you want to call us, but the band is, there's no the.
It's Bad Suns.
Technically, yeah.
See, you got to get that right. So I'm here with Bad. You want to say the.
When you say it like that, that's total. I feel like that makes sense.
Right. So we have two of the four band members here. Thank you guys for stopping by. New album out.
Yeah, it's
How
out
new
now.
is it?
We're just coming up around like 2 months. Came out end of March.
Okay, that's still new.
Yeah.
Mystic Truth.
Yes.
Where did the name come from?
That came from, it's just sort of the way that it ends up generally happening with us, is there will be a lot of ideas kind of thrown into like a hat, so to speak, or on just in notes, in actual notebooks and in the phone and everything, and then eventually like a certain title will end up kind of sticking out that seems to be clinging to a lot of whatever is happening, because at this point we're usually like pretty deep into the writing process of the album and trying to figure out where it's going. And so that one just came. It was something that we were in London playing some shows over in Europe and came across this piece in a museum by this guy called Bruce Nauman, and it just sort of he had all this. It was the strangest stuff he had going on. There was like VHS videos of people like incessantly washing their hands, and then one thing was this neon sign that just said, "The true artist helps the world by revealing mystic truths," and you had to like read it in like, you had to read it in this really weird kind of like circular way, and at the end of it I just kind of was like, I thought it was sort of funny but at the same time profound,
right,
but also tongue-in-cheek, right, and I think that ended up sitting well with us, I guess. It kind of lent it that sort of nature of the record, I think.
And this is this is your third record? Yeah,
number 3.
And we've been friends for a while. We did a song together. We'll get into it in a little bit. We did a fun song on the side that I think the label was smart of them to not play or let leak, because I think it was a little maybe risque for you. I think you guys liked it, but I think they might have felt that the fans of your younger teenage girls might not want to hear a song about a penis. What do you think is going to happen when you get in the studio with Dirt Nasty? And I refer to him in the third person because it's a character I play. I feel that the song never had a chance, but it was fun making it with you guys. You could rap, bro.
I'm not sure how to take it. And that was the last time I rapped.
That was
mic drop.
I haven't rapped since.
Oh, I thought of a good name for a rapper the other day. Liability.
Oh, that's good.
Right? Have you heard the new Liability? Like, he's trouble, man.
That sounds like it's already a thing.
It sounds like it's already a thing. So, okay, your rap name is Liability.
Okay.
All right?
You gotta make sure.
I'm your manager. Cool. So anyway, we'll play the song later. You could rap. I was very surprised. And we just had fun. You know what? That was one of those sessions where it was just... it was fun making it, right? We just had a good time. We were kind of just getting to know each other. It was like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And you talked about this earlier. We went in there with no plan, which I'm a big fan of the no plan. Everything in life to me is no plan. I hate plans. Magic happens when there's no plans, in my opinion. I just bought an RV. I call it the no plan van because I don't know where I'm going. I'll just get in it, drive up north, end up wherever, no plans. When you guys make music, is there always a plan coming in, or is it often like you said when you're at the museum? Oh, that's dope. Let's use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because the writing of this song is actually really similar to the way that I think a lot of our stuff comes together when we're working as Bad Suns. And you sort of just go in it expecting sort of the unexpected. I think it's good not to have too much of a concrete plan or an idea that's already formed in your head before you go into, wait for something to happen essentially, or create something from nothing. So this was a similar thing where we kind of came in not knowing exactly what we were going to be doing, but we did have the notes and some ideas swimming around, and that title of the song was just one of the ideas that floated to the top, and we all heard it, and I don't know if we want to say the title of the song now or save that for later.
Oh, for Benjamin. Well, I guess I just said it. It's called Benjamin Button's Cock. And wait, so we did have
the Benjamin Button Cock.
See, it's like the Bad Son.
Exactly.
Benjamin Button singular.
It's important to get this stuff right, because
you're right, dude. You're absolutely right.
Because the idea was it kind of was like came as a stroke of genius. It was like,
who came up with it?
I don't know. It must have just been a conversation we were all having. I remember it as I came up with it.
I feel like you guys brought it to the
it's
table.
such a good idea that
Yeah.
I feel like everyone probably thinks they thought of it.
So I feel like maybe we should just play a little sample of it now because we've been talking about this song for a couple minutes now. This song came about when our mutual friend Brian Ling, who's your manager, correct?
Yeah.
He's your manager and a dear old friend of mine and a great guy. And he said, dude, I got to get you in the studio with the boys. And we got in the studio about 4 or 5 years ago. And let's play a snippet of what happened that lovely early afternoon. Could we play it, Eric? Thank you, buddy. This is called Benjamin Buttoncock.
Yeah.
Right. And who's on bass?
Gavin Bennett.
Gavin, yeah.
He's a silent.
He's funky white
contributor.
boy. Funky white boy.
Oh yeah.
And you on the hook?
Yeah.
Okay. And I
Singing
think
the
I
hook.
think I come
you
in
Miles.
rapping for.
Check it out.
Right, here we go.
It's hard having a baby dick. Stopped growing in 86. You need a baby bill. Anyone wanna trade the shit? Girls, you won't feel a thing. No, just my balls, a dang-a-lang. It's such a shame my dick fit in your white wedding ring.
'Cause it's small.
But it's kinda cute. Just pet it. As long as you ain't a dude on the run with the Bad Suns. Whip out our big ass dicks if we had some. Shit.
I said the Bad Suns in the song. Okay. Oh wait, listen. Let it ride.
1 inch out, 3 inside, 1 inch out.
I got a Benjamin Buttoncock, yeah.
I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch out, 3 inside, 1 inch out. I got a Benjamin Buttoncock.
Okay, cut it right there. It's great. Thank you, Eric. Beautiful song. You
Yeah.
murdered the hook.
Thanks.
Was it fun for you to kind of let loose and do something silly? Because you guys are more. I don't think you guys take yourself too seriously, but your music isn't jokey, and you got to come into my world on that one and have fun. Was it fun for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
I think it was a great creative outlet for us.
It's funny
To
to
really
talking
express-
serious about this song.
It was a chance for us to really express these things that
Yeah.
we were going through that maybe
Yeah.
we weren't able to sing about in our own music typically. But I think the concept is just so relatable that I'm just happy to have it out there now.
Well, I did a song called "Baby Dick," which I think maybe subconsciously influenced this
Probably.
song because I know you guys. I feel like you guys were at some point were like knew a couple of my songs.
Yeah,
and maybe that would planted the
Gavin
seed.
had been to a Dirt Nasty show before we actually met you in 2013, whatever it was.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there probably was some sort of influence there, like you put it, and it kind of the idea turned into this other thing where not only do you have a baby dick, but it actually gets smaller
As time goes on.
It gets when you get
Hard.
You get smaller actually, which is
3
kind of where
inch?
the Benjamin Button thing
Right.
ties in, where he gets younger the older he gets.
Right.
It's
I've
kinda
never
the same-
seen that movie, by the way.
Oh, you haven't?
I know.
It's great.
I know what it's about. So, okay. So 3 inch hard, 1 inch soft.
That's
I got
the
a Benjamin Buttoncock.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I say a line on there. I said, my ding fit inside your wife wedding ring. That means small.
Yeah.
That's a small dick. That's like a woman's finger. Like even if it was a dude's finger, that's small, but a woman's finger. So self-deprecating penis jokes for me always work. Like it's too easy to be like, I got a big ass dick. I think it's funnier to be like, I got a little baby dick. That seems to resonate more with.
It's giving a voice to the voiceless. in
You
a
know,
way.
yeah.
I think you're starting a movement here, spearheading some kind of movement for people who.
Yeah, dude. It's well, that's the first time the world has even heard this song because we never put I never played it on it. Maybe on my social media, it kind of got leaked. A section of it I put on Instagram or something. But that's the first time anyone's really heard that song. So it's
Yeah.
out there. So your label, I hope they're not gonna be pissed at you.
No, they've been waiting for this.
Okay, good.
I'm
good.
looking out and I can already see the change in the world that's
Yeah,
taking
dude,
place.
The panoramic view, you can't deny it. People are in the streets. It's in high demand.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you've been on tour for the new album. You've been on a North America tour for a bit, taking a break, then going back on tour, touring Mystic Truth and all songs. What's been? Tell me some of your favorite spots to tour. I know when I tour as Dirt Nasty, I got a few cities that we just like, oh, dude, Portland, it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some cities that just like fucking love us, and there's some that. What's the best cities for you guys? What are your fans?
What jumps out at you?
Texas is always great. Dallas, Austin, even
Austin goes
like San Antonio will go off.
San Antonio's crazy because you could get murdered there at any moment. That place is not like scary kind of. San Antonio scares me. Austin, I'm not as scared. San Antonio, don't turn around the corner. So Texas, yeah, Texas. What
Texas
else?
is good. Florida tends to be great. We were just there. We played in St. Petersburg for the first time, and it was, I don't know, it was just amazing. The show was great. It was like right by the beach, and it was just like a beautiful day out. And there's always just a cool energy at the shows there.
Yeah. Florida gets a bad rap. I feel like Florida is
I always
like
feel
the
like a
Valley.
need to defend it too.
I like Florida, and I defend the Valley, which you guys are Valley boys. Are
Yeah,
you guys
I'm the same fight
So
as
you
you.
guys went to high school together, right? Or
We actually didn't. We went
You
to
didn't.
like nearby high schools.
Where? Where's nearby?
So
LA
I went-
area.
Yeah, I went to Calabasas High School.
Okay.
And then you went to Taft.
Where's Taft?
Taps,
Near the-
Winnetka. It's like Winnetka, Ventura.
Okay.
So Woodland Hills.
Okay, so
We're both from Woodland Hills.
got it. Okay. Now, I spent some time out there many, many moons ago. You guys were probably little babies at this point. Like, I'd say mid-90s, I'd go out there a lot to a place called Agora.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that near you?
Yeah, that's like my rival school.
Ah, Agora
basically. They're
Hills.
just
what's
right
the-
up north from,
Right.
from Calabasas.
Okay, so growing up, SoCal, Valley. I guess that's the Valley enough.
Mm-hmm.
What music did you guys listen to that you pulled from? That I hear, because I hear some stuff that I grew up on in your guys' music, and I don't like when people compare me to anything, but I hear The Cure. I hear a little, like, I hear some 80s influence in there in your guys' music. What did you guys grow up listening to? What was your jam?
Yeah, well, definitely them.
Oh, so The Cure was,
Yeah,
you listened to The Cure?
Absolutely, yeah. Since
They're the best.
Since yes, they've been, for whatever reason, they were one of my favorite bands since I was like super young. Like, I don't even think double digits yet. That was like some common ground that me and my dad. Plus, also, I feel like Los Angeles, in particular, has these ties with bands like The Cure and Depeche Mode that have just been like totally withstanding. Like, I would hear that stuff on the radio, even though it wasn't coming out at the time when I was listening to the radio. It's still there. You turn on the radio and you're gonna hear that stuff. So that was a big influence, I think, sonically. It was just kind of the things that were coming out of the radio, which really resonated with us in that kind of a way, the way that like The Cure would, or Depeche Mode, and so many different bands.
How old is your dad?
He's just turned 57. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm right in between. Okay, I was gonna say, am I your dad's age? Because I feel real
No.
old right now. Because because I grew up as a kid on The Cure. What's some of the more stuff that I guess 90s, early 2000s music that was like cool in your high school when you were in high school that was possibly an influence for you guys? Because I'm trying to think, like, what was the jam in what year you guys graduate high school?
Graduate?
Yeah.
2010.
Okay, 2010. So in the 2000s, what
Yeah.
was the shit? Like, what were you guys bumping?
Depends. It kind of. I feel like in that timeline, like in the 2000s, that's when we were like, our tastes were probably changing like pretty rapidly. Like, I'd say at the beginning of that, it was like my first shows were like Blink-182, No Doubt, like total Southern California kind of radio stuff, and then like Green Day, and then that led to, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that was that era.
But that was, it was like, I think at that point, like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, we're still pretty young at that point.
Right.
And I think that was kind of, the bands like that, just bands that had great songs, but also, I don't know, the way that music was carried, I think was exciting at the time to us.
Yeah, it was. There was a feel. There was an emotion to it. It felt like a cry from Southern California. Now, do you guys? What would you guys even say? Like, if somebody asked you what genre of rock you guys are, I don't even know what to say. What category would it be under at the record store?
Alternative?
Alternative?
Probably.
Yeah.
Alt rock?
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a blanket statement now.
Which
it used to
works.
be right.
Yeah.
Because it's more than that. It's like,
It could be anything.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. I don't know. I feel like alternative rock, it's like it's enough of an umbrella that it's not such a direct answer.
Right.
But at the same time, you can kind of begin to imagine. So I usually just say that.
right.
Or just like rock and kind of pop. Because, stylistically, a lot of our songs are there are different types of songs that we have, I guess. So it's hard to say.
And did you guys get your start by dropping off a demo at K-Rock? Is that how did you guys kind of get your big break? I mean, there's a lot of bands out there trying to make it. What was there a certain event that happened that was like, oh shit, it popped off? Like, how did you guys get on the radio? How did you guys get, like, what happened?
Yeah, that was, just putting out the first song online was a big deal for us. All our friends finally got to hear what we'd been doing, and we took that same song to the K-Rock office, and it was Kat Corbett who does the locals only stuff.
Yep. What song was this, by the way, for listeners? What song did you guys take out first?
It was called Cardiac Arrest.
Cardiac Arrest. Yep, that was the first. That's what put you guys on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the first song that started. We started getting emails, from managers or people who were interested in working with us, like the next day it seemed. So it was
it's a hit. Like, it's weird. You could just tell. I mean, it's obvious. Like, a hit means that unanimously, like, a lot of people will like it. I remember hearing that song, and I'll be quite honest. I don't necessarily listen to a lot of alt rock, and I gravitated towards your guys' stuff. And at first, Bling plays it for me, and I'm like, yeah, he's always playing me his bands. And I remember hearing that song, and then I even sent it out to some of my like hip hop friends. I sent out your album to a few friends, and their feedback was like, dude, I don't listen to this kind of music, but these dudes are dope.
That's cool.
And that's why I knew, like, you guys was something. You guys had something that wasn't just going to be like a flash in the pan, one hit kind of deal. But sometimes you come out with a song that big, like Cardiac Arrest, and it's hard to follow. Like, I don't mean to make it about me, but in my experience with Mickey Avalon, like, we came out with My Dick. Where do you go from there? Like, that was our definitive song. It's almost like you peak early, and then, whoa, shit, where do you go?
Yeah, that's like definitely something that you have to be cognizant about. And I think that we were lucky in the sense that that song kind of came together around a bunch of other songs that we already had for our first album. So that was definitely kind of like our foot through the door. But we were really lucky in the sense that we had a lot of material to work with as well. And like following it up, I don't think we've put the pressure on ourselves to necessarily have to replicate any kind of like success or whatever. I think at the end of the day, we've kind of just know that what works the best is just kind of to use the same intuition and the same kind of same drivers that kind of ever got us to do anything that we really liked. For us, it's mainly just about making songs that we really like and want people to hear. And we were lucky, and we get lucky sometimes in terms of like people want to hear it. So that's.
Yeah, I noticed. Again, in my experience, I've been wrong a lot. I don't know if has this happened to you guys where you make a song, you're like, holy shit, this song's the fucking jam, and then you're wrong and the label doesn't like it and the fans don't like it. And then the other side of the coin is you'll make a song that you're like, whatever, and everyone loves it. I've had that happen before where I've done a song and I'm driving home listening to it. I'm like, I ain't even gonna put this shit on my album, and it's my biggest song, like 1980 or something, and I'm just totally wrong about what I think is dope and what would work. Do you guys ever come across that situation, or how do you guys, and to follow that up with for you guys, how do you agree on what you're gonna put out? Does the label pick that with you guys? With four? There's no democracy. It's got to be.
Both great questions. To answer the first one, I would say that it definitely does happen. I think a lot of the times, whether you have a really good idea or a bad idea, you're kind of going back and forth on this sort of uncertain. It's like you kind of go back and forth, and then while you might think this is great, there's in the back of your mind there's like, or this might be really bad. Yeah. And then sometimes like, this is really bad, and you can be like, or this might be really great.
Yeah, those are usually the ones.
Yeah, sometimes, and it can go either way. Sometimes it's the best stuff, and sometimes it's the worst stuff. So we kind of basically we try and avoid ever releasing something that we're so unsure of like that. Right. But there are definitely tests, like when you're asking how it gets decided what music ends up on the albums. It's like there are several like barometer, like a lot of tests that it has to go through in order for all of us to feel like completely comfortable and like proud to release it. So it's just a very careful trial and error process, I guess, and we do all that stuff behind the scenes, and that's kind of the fun.
Does the label? Do you guys? Does the label have any part of the decision making, because it's a business and they're like, oh, this song is marketable and we choose this song to be the signal, and there's the age old thing of like the band, running into button heads with the suits because do you guys have a pretty harmonious relationship with? I know Bling. I can speak for Bling is probably easy to work with, but have you guys had the age old label problems, or has it been? Seems like it's been pretty smooth.
I think we've definitely run into things like that in the past, but like I remember, but it's something you never know. I feel like for the most part we've been lucky in the sense that we agree on what needs to be done. So like I think with both of our labels, it's kind of whenever it comes time to deciding what songs should be singles, we usually tend to be on the same page, I think.
Good. That's a good thing. You want that. You want to be on the same page and not be fighting with them, because then it's like having a girlfriend you fight with all the time. The sex is good, but then it's not going to work out. Let's play a little bit of Cardiac Arrest for the listeners out there, because we all know the song in our head, but some of the listeners may never heard the song. Let's just play a little sample of that sweet jam, baby. And I'm going to sing along badly.
Oh, please.
Okay. I mean, dude. It's a great melody. Grip. Okay, I won't ruin it.
I liked where it was going.
Oh no! See?
Dude,
I'm there.
nailed it.
My best. My cardiac arrest. See, I can hit the notes.
Yeah, you got it, man.
All right, we're good. Dude, that jam ain't going nowhere. And I forgot to tell you guys, I think I told Bling, I was like, this is when I knew you guys were really popping off, because I was in Europe. I was in like Spain in a shopping mall, and you guys were getting played in like
great.
the store. I was like, they made it.
I love hearing...
That's the best shit.
I love hearing that, because I feel like I have so many memories and experiences that are like ongoing, to where I'll just hear a song that I really like in a place, totally random like that. And so that always stokes me out, and to think that people are experiencing that with our stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's when you made it. When you leak into the shopping mall world. Mark Ronson told me that he, name drop, he told me that he knew he had a hit when he was on an airplane, and one of his songs was playing. It's like a Lily Allen song or something, and it was one of the songs that was playing before the airplane took off to calm you down. It's like a relaxing song. He's like, I achieved a relaxing song.
It's like Porcelain by Moby or something.
Exactly. Like there's certain songs to chill you out.
Yeah.
So he heard his own song, and he's like, oh, that's cool. You'd think, and I remember thinking like, oh, you don't approve that. I guess that's the record label side of things, where you're just in the machine. Once you put your thing in the matrix, it can go anywhere, and it's not really up to you. Like, you don't have the right to say, I don't want to be played in a mall in Spain, do you? It just gets out there.
Exactly.
But you want it to.
You want whatever is you want. You don't want to close off any possibilities. Basically, it's like the songs that we're releasing are songs that we feel really passionately about one way or another, and not every single one serves the exact same purpose, but different songs serve different purposes. And what, it's like I think it's kind of pointless to spend too much time deciding what that's going to be before it just happens.
Absolutely agree. Let's talk about Bonnaroo. I've always wanted to go. I like going to some music festivals. I hear that's one of the most fun ones to do. You guys played Bonnaroo. What year did you guys play Bonnaroo?
2017.
Okay, how was that like one of those holy shit festival moments where you're just like looking around at each other like, are we really fucking here? Or at that point you guys were somewhat established, but that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, I mean that was our first like nighttime slot at a festival.
Wow.
And so I remember
nighttime slot. That's big.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So, but I think that we tend to go into everything with just pretty like with expectations pretty low, or just not even really thinking about it.
It's a good way to go through life.
It's just it just makes things easier, I guess. And so there are those cases like Bonnaroo where you're just so surprised and so like you're going to a festival, it's going to be something special, but you don't want to like assume this is going to be the best thing ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or else it's just not going to live up to that.
Any other big festivals? Crazy. Any other big festivals like that were one of those oh shit moments, like where you're tripping out and how the fuck are we sitting here right now? How did we get here?
Yeah, a few. Coachella was definitely a big one.
I remember that. I wanted to come see you guys and I didn't come. Fuck.
Dude, that was fun. And getting to do that 2 weekends especially was surreal. Especially that being like the festival that we kind of went to. Coming up.
Right.
And
how do you feel about Coachella now?
The first time that I went with our bass player Gavin when we were just like finishing up high school. This was 2011, and like at that point it was sort of like the perfect lineup for where we were. It was like Arcade Fire, The Strokes, Kanye, and Kings of Leon were headlining.
That's
that
when
year.
It was dope.
So that was like all of what we were listening to at that time, and it was just like there were so many great bands beyond the headliners too. I remember seeing Tame Impala for the first time.
Maybe one of my favorite bands on the planet. How do you guys feel about Tame Impala?
Dude, they're amazing.
They're fucking amazing, right?
And that was one of those times where it's like, I remember seeing them play like outdoors to like, this was right around the time when their first album had come out. And that was my introduction to them, was seeing them live and being like, oh, this is great. And then getting super into that first album and then seeing what's happened with them since. And just like how much incredible music they've made since. It's just cool. It was like a place to discover cool music.
Yeah.
Now it seems a bit Instagram heavy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's become. Tame Impala now, I think they have 2 songs that just came out off of their upcoming album, because it's been like 4 years or something since that. The Nangs. What was the name of their last album? The Pangs.
That was one of the songs. I think it was called Currents.
Currents. Yes, Currents.
Yeah,
it's
that
been
was
4 years. Like nowadays, that you got people are really waiting to see what they're going to come out with next, just because that dude's sort of like a god, especially back in Australia. I was just on tour out there, and he's like the psychedelic rock god out there.
100%.
I mean, that dude is seriously on another level. I'm just thinking, that's considered psychedelic rock, would you say?
That's definitely where it started. Like the first album, I think, without a doubt, is, and I think that the rest of their music definitely carries that. But I think that it's kind of gotten, in a really cool way, more like pop over the years.
Right.
And you were saying
without being lame.
No,
Right.
exactly. Like
Pop's-
kind
pop
of doing
isn't
a
bad.
service to pop music.
Right.
And I feel like he draws from a lot of like golden era, like his idea of what the golden eras of pop music were, and it makes for just really great music.
Do you guys feel that there's an element of pop in your music as well? Obviously, if you're on the radio, I guess technically it's popular, right? So
Yeah,
Right?
probably.
it's like alt rock. I mean, it's such a. I think like if you just say pop or alt, it just feels like that's such a wide net that you're casting. I don't know. I'm trying to like nail it down and really think of like what specifically your genre of music would be. But I mean, I guess alt rock. I guess just
Yeah,
you
I don't know. I've come to embrace the big nets.
Yeah.
I feel like this is, you got to listen to it and then figure it out.
Any rap that you guys like now? Because I feel really old, because a lot of rap that I listen to now, I'm turning into that grumpy old guy that's like, I don't know what these kids are talking about. And
Sure.
there's some dope rap out there, but for the most part, it's just kind of sounding all like, I just don't, I feel like I'm out of touch. What's the dope new rap that Bad Suns listen to on the road? Or do you guys listen to rap at all? What do you guys listen to on the road?
Yeah, not much. Not much. I haven't been paying attention much to rap recently. And
Good for you, young man.
maybe it's for that reason that there's just not. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't like hit me like it did when I was younger, and I was first discovering rap and all that.
When
but,
Lil Trenchcoat was running around the streets.
yeah, liability.
Liabilities.
But it's cool. I think this new Vampire Weekend stuff came out while we were just on the road.
Oh, yeah?
I think we were all probably listening to that a bunch.
Do you guys listen to The Voids by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan. I think they kind of got a cool sound for some new, like, psychedelic-ish rock, you know?
Definitely. They put out, I don't remember how long ago it was at this point, but I remember being at the airport on one of these last tours, and they just put out some really cool songs, man.
Yeah, Voids are killing it.
And then Ray just went and saw the Strokes played at the Wiltern like 2 nights after us, right when we got home from tour, and he got to see that show.
So could you
Pretty
imagine
amazing.
Julian's in 2 bands then, essentially? Julian Casablancas, who we're talking about, lead singer of the Strokes, and the Voids. I feel like that'd be a lot to take on. Like, could you imagine having another side band? It doesn't seem like
No.
right?
Yeah, no, I think that I can only just assume things, but I feel like he just got to a certain point to where I don't know. I feel like the Strokes is such a thing in itself that he probably has the desire to like get different creativity out in different ways. So I think that's something that you have to like get to a certain point to where you decide you're gonna do that.
I think he genuinely doesn't give a fuck, which is a powerful tool as an artist, to just not care. He can kind of do whatever he wants.
Sure.
I feel like, but he's not. It's not like he's just putting out some like crazy, side project whack shit. Like the Voids is fucking mind blowing. Like that. I think they have 2 albums out. Both of them are really dope. Beardo, you guys know Beardo?
Yeah, we do.
Good friend of mine, done a lot of music with them. He's lead guitar. He's touring the world, having, like living the rock star dream, touring Europe with those guys. You guys tour Europe a lot. Have you done Asia yet? What's any Asia stories? No Asia?
No, we're waiting for that one.
Okay. Europe.
Yeah, we just started. We did our first like tour of Europe earlier this year, and it was amazing.
So tell me some quick Europe, like what's some of your favorite places to go in Europe? Because I used to live there and I travel around Europe all the time when I was like 19, 20. And Europe is the fucking shit just to go travel around. Like, you got to go do Europe at some point. I could only imagine doing it as a band, traveling around, rocking shows.
Yeah.
What's the European experience like? Are the fans any better? Are they harsher? What's it like out there?
It's just different. I think especially because we're super accustomed to touring in the States where everyone speaks the same language as us, and like you meet so many different kinds of people regardless, but being over there, it is kind of like an alternate universe version of what we're used to doing, but it's also brand new all of a sudden. And having people who speak a different language singing along to our lyrics,
right?
It's just different.
Yeah,
kind of hits in a different way, but like in a lot of ways, it's really similar. Like the crowds are just as receptive, and I feel like for a lot of the people like that are really into the music, they tend to be, I don't know, really passionate about it. People are dancing and having a good time. It was really cool.
I feel like they do it almost even more than America. It's weird. We toured once with Mickey with the Chili Peppers. Obviously, they're huge, and we opened up for them, and it was like football stadiums of 50,000 people, and they hated us. And they told us, they're like, the Chili Peppers, like, okay, you guys are going to go through it. They're going to throw shit at you. They're going to boo you. You got to get through it. And they just stand on the side and watch us bomb. And it was pretty fucking gnarly, like going out there. And I remember looking out at the crowd just thinking, whoa, they're way die hard. Like, this is the Chili Peppers, and they're in unison would turn around and flip us off and just turn their back to us. It was like a thing, and they're like, oh, that's a thing they do here. They'll just turn their back on you and flip you off.
Damn.
They take the shit serious. They're like, who are these guys in the way of me and the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Get them the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah.
They don't play.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy,
but
man.
It was rad. It was like a cool experience.
I can't
It's paying dues.
What's an experience like that you can get? That's so crazy.
Did you guys ever have any of those moments opening up for any other bigger bands where you guys had to be the sacrificial lamb, or was it kind of always love? Because I feel like your music doesn't like you could understand how me and Mickey Avalon would be like, oh fuck you, but you guys' music I don't think
Chili
is as
Peppers
brave.
fans.
Do you know what I mean?
Use these two guys rapping this funny
Right.
comedy stuff.
You know what I mean?
I could imagine a lot of people were confused, but I mean, it also kind of makes sense.
It makes sense. It was a weird feel. It was what happened was Gnarls Barkley. Remember, maybe I'm crazy.
Oh, hell,
so
of
they
course.
blew up so big overnight that slot opened up, and the Chili Peppers were like, "Hey, fill in. We need to fill someone in for them because now they're headlining their own tour."
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we were
yeah.
just a last minute filler, and then everyone in the everywhere we went in Europe was like, "Who the fuck is Mickey Avalon? Who? Get these guys out of here!"
But I'm sure a lot of people also thought it was great.
Well, that was fun. You said that. Mickey actually had a good point. At the end of performing in front of 60,000 people, he's like, dude, if we have 1% of the audience like us, well, we got 6,000 fans. You know, we got 600 fans. You know, I'm not good at math. Is that 600 fans?
I didn't hear the number you started with, but it's a lot of people overall,
you know what I mean?
especially over the span of a tour.
That's what I'm saying. And, God, I feel like touring now, you guys kind of got on this, touring music life at a point where it was 360 deals, which I don't know if everyone out there listening understands. The 360 deals when they take like money from your touring, your merch, because record sales aren't what they used to be 15 years ago. So me and Mickey were kind of right on that same cusp of like, oh, they're taking your T-shirt money and all that shit. Is that a deal with you guys? Like, do you guys get a 360 deal? Like, is that not okay to talk about? How does that work? What's a standard thing nowadays?
I think we're okay with talking about it.
Yeah.
We've kind of been fairly... we've always been independent. Like, our first record label was called Vagrant, and right away we've always sort of done traditional record deals, which aren't 360. So the rest of that stuff is just kind of for us to work out. So I think that we're fortunate in that sense that we didn't have to do one of those deals. I think that's sort of the reason why we're able to maintain the kind of creative freedom. Like, our label doesn't really... I think at one point, even earlier, you asked like kind of what their expectations were or what their level of input is, and it pretty much is just like we all have the same interest. Like, we're not trying to like release duds any more than they are. You know what I mean? So
Right.
So we kind of just have that going for us. So we've always been able to have like these kind of healthy relationships with the people that are, I don't know, doing those things.
I heard, what's his name? The comedian Neil Brennan just said that the other day about comedy. He wrote The Chappelle Show, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with The Chappelle Show, and he was saying how... he runs into these things with like the network when he's writing a TV show where they're like wanting to, change and fix it. He's like, dude, trust me, like nobody wants to bomb less than me. Like
I heard that too, yeah.
Right? And that's kind
true,
of what
man.
you're saying. It's kind of the same thing. Like, trust me, dude, we want this to be we want it more than you do. Like,
Exactly.
you're just after the money. We're after the this is our soul here.
But dude, you see bands where it's not the case,
Right?
And you see labels where it's not the case, and I think it's just kind of it's just like wild out there, I guess. But I think we're lucky in the sense that we do feel that passion.
Yeah. And predominantly female audience. I remember when I came to a couple of your shows. One of them I saw you guys play here in LA, and I remember looking around and thinking, oh, they dialed into something very important. A female audience.
Yeah, no, it is largely. I think it's gotten a bit more. The more that this time has passed, and more people that have like been just more and more people are coming out to the shows, and you kind of see a more varied crowd. But that's definitely like probably where it all kind of began to an extent. I remember one of my favorite things was we were playing this festival show in Dallas with like Weezer and a bunch of other different bands, and I remember we got off stage and like the guitar player from Weezer, Brian Bell, was like, "There's a lot of screaming girls out there. Trust me, it's a really good sign."
Yeah.
I was paraphrasing, but it was something to that effect.
Right.
And I remember it was like, felt like a movie or something.
Dude,
It was so funny, but I think he's right.
He's right, and that's what I noticed when I came
People
to
are
your guys'
excited
show. Like
by the
Citizen
music.
Cope, you guys know who Citizen Cope is? He's like a singer friend of mine, and I go to his shows, and it's just all beautiful women. And if there is a boyfriend with them, they're like, it's okay. They're holding on for dear life because like they're looking up. Every chick's looking up at the. Because it's almost like when you're writing music, a lot of the songs, I think, obviously music affects people different than any other medium. Like girls are going around listening to your guys' music in their headphones, and they're like, oh, they're talking to me. These guys are singing to me. That's what people think, that's got to have like some deep effect on the women that come, because I wouldn't understand that. Me and Mickey are kind of just, Mickey said something though. He goes, dude, we need to write raps to girls. No one's really done that yet. Mm-hmm. Most rappers are like, yo, I got a big dick and I carry a gun. I just made that up, by the way. And
you've seen more Benjamin Buttoncocks out there.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Dude, girls love that song. His producer was saying his wife loved it.
Dude,
my girlfriend and her friends all love it. They're always asking me to play it.
It's self-deprecating.
There's something untapped there.
Yeah, I feel like writing to girls is a really smart idea, and maybe it's not done enough, especially in hip hop. Like I remember Mickey Avalon saying that to me. He's like, "Dude, we gotta write to chicks, not dudes in backpacks. Fuck them. We want girls to be like, oh, that's the." So I'm looking around at our shows. I'm like, "Dude, it's all chicks." He's like, "Yeah, dude, because we're." Like in the studio, I'm thinking like, what would a girl want to hear? I don't do when you guys write music. I don't think you're I'm not sure you guys are trying to do that, but the end result is like you'll be writing about your girlfriend, for instance, right? A story about, and to them it resonates with them. They want to be that girl.
I see where I think a good way to answer that is I feel like there are certain songs which are love songs, but a lot of the time too, it's mainly just like what we're doing. A lot of the times in the lyrics is just kind of one way or another speaking to like the human experience in a way that I think can be relatable, and maybe women are more open to like hearing those kinds of things or sometimes, but I don't know exactly, but I don't think it's like, I don't know if we're approaching it that way to where you're like writing songs for women necessarily.
Right.
I think they tend to be the first to gravitate towards it.
I think they're just more
and then the
open.
guys kind of, and then I feel like guys are kind of opening up more. I would like to think so.
I think so. I think there's a shift
becoming
happening.
less stigmatized.
I think like the new, like it's like that macho bullshit's kind of fizzling away.
I think that's good.
I think it's good too. I think guys are like getting a little more in touch with their inner regalia,
Exactly.
opening up their palatial feel. You know what I'm saying? So Dave Sardi, he worked with you guys. Dave Sardi, he did Oasis.
Yeah, he did the last couple of Oasis records.
That's big time stuff. So tell me, how'd you get set up with him, and what was that experience like?
It was great. We were at this period in time. It was all sort of like a whirlwind. This was like around a year, like right around a year ago, honestly. And we were just we weren't sure who we were going to work with. We had done our first 2 albums with a producer called Eric Palmquist, who's a great friend of ours, and it was amazing. And I think we kind of reached the point to where we felt like we had gotten into such a groove that was kind of familiar that we felt like we needed to sort of just try something new, just for the sake of like just creativity. And we were just writing a bunch of songs on our own and kind of talking with different producers, and then eventually Dave was somebody who had came around we found out one day that like, because our manager, like our management has like, they represent bands and producers and stuff like that, and at a certain point it got brought up that he was now working with them, and we were familiar with his work that he had done with a bunch of different bands, and he's just known for making like really, really great sounding rock records. And so that was something really appealing to us, and especially I think the songs that we had in our pocket at that point, like it just at a certain point it kind of clicks. Because I think a band choosing their producer, it's really, really important because there has to be some kind of like shared vision ultimately, which sort of steers the whole process. And it's like,
chemistry, all that shit.
he becomes like a member of the band.
Yeah, I always thought about that, like a Rick Rubin when he jumps on something. Like, for instance, let's say one day T-Bone Burnett wants to do a Bad Suns out, whatever, whoever the fuck it may be. It can't be forced. It just can't be like from a business label perspective. Like, let's put them. It's got to be a chemistry, right? I mean, it's got to. So, do you guys like kind of audition a producer like this and say, yeah, he did Oasis, but we weren't really vibing with him, and then go from like, how does that work?
Yeah, we met with producers that we just where the idea was cool and we were open to it, and then just you don't end up vibing with the person for whatever reason. And
you don't want to get in the studio for 3 months with someone you're not vibing with, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, but I think by the time that we had met Dave, it's funny you bring up Rick Rubin, because he worked with him for a long time. So I think that like a lot of that school kind of enters the way that he approaches being a producer and like being in the studio. And so like right away, just after he heard the music and after we met for the first time at his house, it was just very apparent very quickly that like he actually got it and liked it and like kind of had ideas for what we could do together. And we felt the same way based off of the rapport that we had. Because for us, like the working relationship with anybody that's involved, like anybody that gets involved with what we're doing, it's just really, really important to us that they are like of the same kind of mind about it. You know, they're as excited about it as we are, basically.
Do you guys do any type of exercise, yoga, meditation, karate, fucking jujitsu? And you guys got a little routine? I know you're young, strapping men. You don't need to yet, but I want you guys to stay limber and loose so you could be like, Mick Jagger when you're rocking at 70. And I don't want you guys to tighten up too much on the road.
I think we're starting to like get better about that stuff.
What do you do?
Yeah, I know.
When you're on a tour bus and a plane, do you stretch out?
A lot of stretching, a lot of foam rolling. I know Chris is big into yoga and running, and then
good man.
I play a ton of basketball when I'm home, but it's not as accessible on the road.
Basketball's I do yoga and it's for my age. It's obviously a lot better. Like you don't need to do it, but I think if as a preventative measure for later on in life,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, get into it now.
I got into it and I just liked it so much that I decided just kind of not stop, and that it can only be good. And I feel like at a certain point, like I know that once I hit like my 30s and everything, like shit slows down a little bit. So I'm trying to prepare myself for that. Smart man. That I'm not like, I don't wake up and I'm Fat Elvis in the mirror one day. You know what
exactly. I mean? So basketball, it's interesting because I'll go to do all these things to try to get out of my crazy brain, and basketball is one of the only things that actually forces me to stop thinking because you have an objective at hand. So it's like pass the ball. If you're going to yoga, you're still thinking. You're just like standing there going, oh fuck, I got to call back so-and-so. And
you're trying not to, but it's kind of hard.
Still when you go have an objective like basketball, you actually really get out of your head. So I'm learning that in a weird way after all these years of yoga. I'm like, oh fuck, to get out of my head, the best thing to do is go play basketball. So I'll go down to Venice Beach and play ball, and for me that's kind of like my zen getting out of my head routine is playing basketball.
Dude, for me, I think that's going to the beach and like going in the ocean, usually because it's so cold that all you're thinking about is kind of like the exact experience that you're in, and like, the currents or whatever else. And that's always like, that's a good place, I feel like, to get out of your head.
You familiar with Wim Hof, guys? Are you down with Wim Hof? He's a guy, I just had him on the podcast. He's like the ice cold Iceman. His name's Iceman.
Oh, no, I'm curious.
I'll send you guys some shit after. Basically, He's the cold water guru, and he's tapped into it. He basically is this older yogi, like dude from the Netherlands, who one day was walking through Amsterdam and he saw a freezing cold lake, and he's like, I'm getting in there. And he just went and sat in there, and he's like, holy shit, this is the only thing I can do to get me out of my fucking monkey mind. So he started incorporating this breathwork ice cold water therapy called Wim Hof, his name, and I got to meet him recently, and he's kind of like a hero of mine. And I do that shit all the time. I go in the cold water to shut up my monkey brain.
Dude, that's so cool.
It really works.
I'm curious to check that out.
Yeah, Wim Hof. But again, you guys are young, so I don't feel like you guys need to get out of your heads yet. This is all going to come later when you know, fame also. How do you guys deal with fame? Because fame is a mask that eats away at the soul. And I wonder, how do you handle all the attention that all of a sudden is thrown at you overnight? It fucks your head up a little bit. Like you go back to your hometown and people kind of treat you different. They're like, oh, like, how's that ride been for you guys? Want to hear your experience.
I don't think we haven't really had to deal with fame like in the kind of Tom Cruise way to where you're everyone knows exactly what you look like and who you are. I think it's a little bit different for us being in music and kind of in our experiences, but like, you know, for us it basically means like sometimes somebody will come up to you at the movie theater or at the Chipotle or
low level fame,
whatever, and just say like, love your music. And so that's just cool.
That's cool.
So there's not really that much of a downside. It's like we're not like getting our houses TP'd or anything like that.
Right.
But sometimes I will say sometimes I wish my family would just want to talk about anything else.
Right.
Like sometimes there's like one guy who's just so mind blown by the, you know what I mean? And I totally get that because I feel like I would be like, but no, it's usually.
Yeah, it just becomes real normal real quick. Like I'm sure at first the novelty wears off. Like at first like, whoa, this is weird. I'm getting all this attention. And then it just becomes normal, but it's never normal to other people. I remember I had my dad's side cousins that I never met in my life because my dad's from like a trailer park in the South, and I have all these cousins I never met that were just some like country ass cousins, and one day they wanted to meet me because I was on MTV. So it was only because I was on MTV.
Sure.
And then I went to meet them and it was so uncomfortable, and they're all sitting at this restaurant like looking at me like I was some type of exotic bird, and they're like poking at me like, oh, he's real. And I was just like, dude, this is fucking weird. Like and now I feel bad. I want to know my family, but they only want to know me because that's a weird thing, you know? So
that's gnarly.
Yeah. What about for you back home in Calabasas? Where'd you say you live?
Currently Sherman Oaks.
Sherman Oaks. Walking through Sherman Oaks, the young teenage girls, they're not scraping and pulling that little trench coat's dick?
No. It's I think day to day everything's really simple. If you're in the mall one day and somebody knows of your band and gives you a compliment, it makes me stoked. I never feel inconvenienced by it or anything. It doesn't happen too often.
It's weird. On stage, you guys get, and then back in real, it must be a weird thing too, because for me, you know, when I go do a show and then I go back to my hotel room and it's just like you alone in your room and it's just quiet all of a sudden, isn't that a weird feeling going from like rocking 700 people screaming on your dick and then all of a sudden you're back in your hotel room by yourself and it's just quiet? Isn't that a weird feeling?
Yeah, I think for me what's almost weirder is like how calm I am right before we go on stage versus the second that we're up there. It's like, I don't know, I feel like it's like completely like you could just be sitting like this before a show and just kind of like.
Now, did that come with time? Were you ever nervous before?
Not to a crazy extent, but I think the more that we tour and the more that we get in the habit of kind of like, all right, you just know that you're waiting for something, and it's either going to be a really great show or a really bad show, and I can't think too much about either. You just kind of are like just preparing yourself. I don't know exactly. Everyone probably has their own process, but and then as soon as you get up there, it's like coming alive.
You go in the zone. I feel like you guys have a very mature, calm, zen energy for young men your age, and I feel some.
Well, thanks, Simon.
Well, I aspire to be more like you guys, in that you guys are equanimous. You're very calm.
That's nice
I'm working on that. You know, I'm doing all the steps to try to be zenned out, and you guys are naturally in that state. Look how calm and cool you are. Does anything ruffle your feathers? Like, what, do you ever yell or anything? Are you one of those ragers, like you're all calm and mellow and you snap and throw a big Corona bottle?
No, I don't snap. I think it's probably a little more unhealthy, but things bother me.
Internally, but you're holding them within.
Yeah, because I never feel like acting out or snapping is to my benefit or anybody else's. So
smart, evolutionary young man.
But then sometimes it adds up, you know.
No shit. It'll be like a volcano and erupt. So I need you to hit the punching bag. Maybe basketball is a good outlet.
Totally.
You need to do something to let it out because, you know, that shit like inside bottles up. You know, you're going to fucking end up having a Benjamin Buttoncock one day. You don't want that.
No, I think I chose the correct profession for an outlet for that sort of stuff.
On stage, I noticed you go fucking
shit out of a drum kit.
I notice on stage you let it out, but in real life you're very calm and zenned out. It's a good balance. Just I aspire to be more like that. monkey mind. I can't sit still. Look at you. You guys are both very mature.
Dude, honestly, now I'm thinking about this, I do kind of feel like you're right. I feel like in a lot of ways, like the show and everything.
Maybe a little closer.
The show and everything is sort of like, I feel like I've become so much more chill as a person since we've actually gotten to do this. To where I think back to myself even like a few years ago, and I feel like I was a bit more like jumpy and kind of hyper, and like now I don't know, like I do feel a bit more chilled out because we get to actually do that crazy thing that we really love to do.
Right.
That it just sort of like, I don't know.
Well, it's not normal. Like most people will never understand what it's like to do what you do.
And you have to remind yourself that because it becomes normal, whatever it is that you do.
That's what I'm saying. It becomes normal.
So I think we appreciate that, and we try and be like very understanding of that and realize like, I think maybe that's where part of it comes from, is like there is sort of a piece in that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to say that we really like don't, get our wires crossed or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course. You guys, I mean, look, me and Mickey Avalon didn't talk for 4 years. We were ready to kill each other by the end of touring the world for a couple of times. Like, that shit is no joke. Like, you're living in a little confined area with your friends. Shit's going to go down. Shit's going to get weird. Yeah, that's not an easy one to pull off. So kudos to you guys for sticking it out even this far. A lot of bands, dude, you see like every single fucking VH1 Behind the Music, Where Are They Now, True Hollywood Story, all that shit.
Yeah, we've seen all those.
So you learn from that and know that it could happen to anybody, no matter how zen and cool you are. So you guys got to, communication is the fucking key. Like if you guys are feeling something, a little resentment for another one, you just got to let each other know, man. And I'm even working on that as a middle-aged adult man. I'm still really trying to fix and work on a lot of self-improvement things, that being one of them. Communication is just so important.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's something that we talk about a lot too. And I
That's
think
communicating.
especially more recently, because I think that
You like that one?
I think that we're aware that we can maybe have certain tendencies that, you know what I mean, where you don't necessarily always want to go there, but get super personal about things, or sometimes it's just hard, But I think that we've come to realize that the more that we actually just, I don't know, do those things and have those conversations and become open to it, it's not as weird as you think it's going to be or whatever. We're trying to get better at that.
No, yeah, it never is.
I think men in general all should be trying to be better about that.
So you guys, this came right. So how old are you guys now? In the early 20s?
24.
Okay, yeah, you guys are still so young. You guys are right out of high school. This is like, I couldn't even imagine being your age and having that level of attention and notoriety and fame and it must be a lot. It's almost like you're getting thrown right into the fire right out of high school, man. So did you guys go to college at all? Or did you get to skip college because of this?
No, it's kind of, I go back and forth because a part of me really wishes I had, like, especially being at this point in my life, I'm like, if I had been to college, I would have just had these certain advantages here and there but at the same time, I mean, doing what we did, I wouldn't change it.
No, you can't change.
It's a different kind of education.
You could always go back to college. You can't always have this window of opportunity.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, part of me definitely thinks about it.
And it's not like, you seem like the kind of guys who would probably watch a YouTube video on the road, learn something. It's not like you guys are just sitting there rotting away. You're stimulating your brain in other ways. Do you guys listen to podcasts at all?
Yeah, we listen to a lot of podcasts.
Who do you listen to? What podcasts are you in your phone right now? What podcast is on?
Okay.
Besides Nervous Rex.
Yeah, Nervous Rex. We all dig this podcast called Song Exploder, which is great for musicians and songwriters, I think.
I'll check that one out.
Totally.
My top one's probably, it's called Making Sense. This guy Sam Harris does it. And,
he just changed the name to Making Sense, right?
It used to be Waking Up.
Yeah, Waking Up. Yeah, Sam Harris. That dude is a fucking next level intellectual, brilliant mind. I saw him the other day and I wanted to go up and bother him. I saw, starstruck, right? I saw Sam Harris and I didn't want to. I chose to not bother him because of my very small window of fame that I've had, and when people come up to me, I don't really care for it. So when I saw him, I'm like, I'm gonna leave him alone. There's Sam Harris right next to me reading a book. I wanted to be like, what book are you reading, Sam fucking Harris? And I didn't bother him. And I took the high road. And maybe I should have just said, like the dude said to you, like in the mall or whatever, like, hey man, big fan, and just keep it moving.
I feel like sometimes I have to go back and forth. If I see somebody like that that's as important to me that I recognize, I definitely have that battle of like, do I bother this person? Do I not? And it's kind of, I feel like it's an instinctual thing.
It's what it takes a lot for me to get starstruck. Like some athletes, I'll get starstruck like because they're superheroes to me. But like another actor, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, because I've done acting or rap. I'm like, I don't care about things that I could do because I'm like, oh, I'm just normal. I can do it.
Yeah.
But you see someone like that's that brilliant of a mind, you're like, holy shit, dude, that dude's like, yeah. Do you? He has a meditation app too, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
I haven't tried it.
You don't need to.
I'm not very good with meditation. I try getting in the steam room and like.
You don't need to. You're already there, dude. You're naturally already equilibrium level regalia. Okay, I'm way up here. You're somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like this dude is just like fucking Zen master, dude. Sam Harris meditation app. I've tried it. The guided ones, they help. I've been doing transcendental meditation on and off for years, which is a form of meditation, which you just say a word over and over in your head. But yeah, dude, that shit is. It's good to learn now because later in life you may want to have that resource, that tool.
Yeah.
So get ahead of it now, guys.
I heard it's kind of hard to get into that, but I
It
feel like
is.
it's worth it. And yeah, at this point, it just seems like we have, especially being on the road. There's so much. Time, like me and Miles read a lot on the road, and it's kind of, we're always looking for things to like fill that time that isn't so like, I don't know, there's just a lot of time to fill and trying to like, you don't want to just keep wasting
1,000%.
when you're waiting for the show.
What books are you guys reading? Because I find this fascinating because most people don't read a lot anymore, especially the youth. Tell me what book you guys read recently. Sapiens? You guys read Sapiens?
That's I have it in my room.
Good book.
But I haven't started it yet.
It's actually easier than it looks.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating looking, but it's an easy read.
Yeah, I actually just finished reading Peter Hook's book about Joy Division. It's called Unknown Pleasures. It's like his.
Is Peter Hook a band member or just an author?
He's the bass player of Joy Division. It's
Joy Division was the shit. Any other books the audience should know that you guys read? This is the interesting stuff that your fans want to know. What fucking books are they reading? This is the juice.
I think we read a couple of the same books on this last tour, actually, with some Albert Camus.
Okay,
and, he
Myth
did.
of Sisyphus. It was a book that we both read. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, go. Yeah, I want to learn.
Yeah, The Stranger is the big one, which I actually haven't read yet. But
Fiction or nonfiction?
That's fiction.
Okay.
Myth of Sisyphus is his.
Oh, Sisyphus is the guy who pushes the rock up over and over and over.
Yeah.
You didn't think I knew that, did you? I'm not as smart as I look. Now, Greek mythology, I'm interested as well. Stoicism, you guys familiar with the Stoics? I'm fascinated with that philosophy.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius that was my first like game changer. Meditations,
great book. He wrote that in a tent during the war in Rome. Correct? Am I right about that?
I think you're right about that. That's
I like those. That one's kind of, you picked it up and it's just excerpts as opposed to like a narrative. So that one's kind of easy to pick up and be like, oh, there's a good. I've been doing this one lately where you wake up. This is a Stoic tool. Is you wake up and the first thing you do before you do anything else is you give yourself something, an assignment, a self assignment for the day. So you wake up and say, today I'm going to listen more and talk less. And it's the first thing you say to yourself. Say it 5 times in a row. Today you give yourself a little homework to be better every day. And then you'll notice that since it's the first thing you do first thing in the morning, your brain somehow just like locks in. And like maybe by the afternoon it'll start to fizzle off. But for the most part, I'll give myself, like today I said, breathe only through your nose. Because we mouth breathe too much as a human species and it's unhealthy. We're meant to breathe through our nose only. Mouth breathing is when you're out of shape. You see a boxer mouth breathing, they're tired. So today, and I haven't been doing it because now I'm doing the podcast and my brain's elsewhere, but...
Do you have to think of that every morning, or do you think of it like the night before and you just tell yourself in the morning?
In the morning, I'll wake up and whatever I feel like I want to do that day, I'll sit up and I'll say to myself, breathe through your nose today. Stop breathing through your mouth. And then I'll notice throughout the day I'm doing it. It's interesting how the brain, you can create these patterns.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
So I'm all about the stoicism. I'm really glad you guys are on the intellectual tip. I'm late to that party. I wasn't doing that when I was your age. That's for sure.
Reading books.
We're not reading books like that. Not Sam Harris and, stoicism. I found that a lot later. So I feel like you guys are way beyond your years.
There's also room for stuff like Bukowski and
sure.
I really I'm a big fan of like Tom Robbins, he has these crazy fictional stories and just like I don't even know how to speak to it. You just kind of have to jump into his stuff. I just finished Skinny Legs and All by him. The first one I started with Jitterbug Perfume. It's just this like crazy epic story and there's like animals that are talking and all these different kinds of things and I love that kind of absurd stuff too. And what did I just do? I really like Kurt Vonnegut.
I find him hard to read. It's
really?
So, yeah. I got a couple of his books, and I'll be honest. I think my intelligence level hits a certain point where I just like, okay, this is just hard to read for me.
That's how I felt about Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, which I feel like they're kind of similar, but it just depends. Which stuff by Vonnegut?
I'm seeing the cover right now, but I don't remember the name. But let me go backwards real quick.
Okay.
You know, Charles Bukowski left 2 words on his grave.
Okay.
You know what those 2 words are?
I don't know.
This is the metaphor for life, and I've done some recon on it. Okay, Charles Bukowski left 2 words on his grave. Don't try.
That's cool.
So at first you think, oh, don't try. Well, how do you not try? How do you not try to make good music? And I know what he means. He means don't try too hard. For instance, I'm sure, you know, if a girl comes up hitting on you guys and she's trying too hard, and it's like, that's a turnoff if someone's trying too hard. Do you agree? Like if someone's like overdoing it, it's like fall back, just relax.
Yeah.
So I think he means, and maybe I'm wrong, is that he means don't over try. And he left 2 boxing gloves with next to the words. And I'm always trying to figure it out. So I found a book called Trying Not to Try.
Okay.
And it's about the science of not trying and how. And then I'm like, well, the title's redundant. How do you try to not try? Then you're trying. And the book goes into depth about how there's these ancient Chinese, the Wu Wei it's called, which is like the flow state. And when you go into the flow state is when magic happens and you're not trying and you're just doing. Like when Jimi Hendrix is ripping guitar, he's just in the zone. He ain't trying. He's just doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Steph Curry's hitting threes. He ain't trying. So I think that's what he means. Interesting book, Trying Not to Try, and Bukowski's great. There's some shit there I'm trying to figure out, and I give you guys a homework assignment. Help me understand it better.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I need some young gunners like you to help me understand. Oh, look, there's a nice photo of you guys.
That's an old one.
It's an old one, huh?
Yeah.
Wait, is this from the first album?
This is before the first album. This was when we did CMJ the first time. This is probably 2013.
Country Music Jams? What's CMJ?
Based off the picture, you'd think so. No, it was.
You guys do kind of look like a country. You
Now
guys
that you
look like
said
a
it.
Nashville boys.
Yeah, we look like a current country band.
Yeah.
I guess we were ahead of the time in 2013. No, CM college music journalism. I don't know, something
my
like that.
intelligence stops right there. Well, let's let the listeners know where they can obviously get your new album everywhere: iTunes, Spotify, yada yada.
All those
and,
different places.
And what's the Instagram, social media, so people could follow you guys and see where you're touring, and people could come see you?
Just everywhere. It's Bad Suns. That's SUNS, like sun in the sky. I have to say that to every Uber driver who asks inevitably if we're in a band and what it's called.
Not SONS.
Yeah, it's
Right.
Bad Suns. You know, like sun in the sky.
And real quick, where did Bad Suns come from? I love the Native American logo that you guys all had to get in the whole deal with Bling about. But what did Bad Suns? What does that mean?
It was another kind of one of those things to where, like I said, we're always just collecting phrases and seeing words and throwing kind of, you know, that one just stuck out.
It's a great name. It just works.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to mean anything.
But at the same time, you kind of feel like it might mean something,
Right.
and it could. And it's just you know, I think it just landed right in the perfect spot for us
Yeah.
to be like. Oh, we also just needed a band name really badly.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, you guys make great music. Everyone out there, check out all their shit. And thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with me.
Of course, man.
I love you
anytime.
guys. I support. And let's leave the audience with the full song, Benjamin Buttoncock.
You guys
because
are
we
in for a
robbed
treat.
him. Yeah, you guys are in for a treat. This is our master penis. Enjoy and suck your own dick. Thanks, guys.
Check it out. It's hard having a baby dick. Stopped growing in 86. You need a baby bib. Anyone wanna trade the shit? Girls, you won't feel a thing. No, just my balls, a dang-a-lang. It's such a shame my dick fit and your wife wet the ring. But it's kinda cute, just pet it. As long as you ain't a dude on the run with the Bad Suns. Whip out our big ass dicks if we had some. Nope. Shit.
I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch high, 3 inside, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah. I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch high, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah.
I really wish I could see my dick, but even if I could, there's no point to it. Cause foreplay just bores me. I need a pair of tweezers just to touch my shit. You never pick it up with chopsticks, straight teeny tiny like a pencil tip. Yeah, you know I'd like to fuck your tits, but you know I'm having fucking trouble finding it. Say looking concave, same dick says first grade. And when I hit it, I'm barely in it. Smallest dick in the galaxy.
I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch hard, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah. I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch hard, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah.
Yeah. No bitches wanna fuck with me. I got a tic-tac dick, that shit's mad weak. True, just the tip, that's all you really need. Grab a telescope if you really wanna see. Let me take you on a ride, short and sweet. I'm a disappointment in the motherfucking sheath. Dissolve in your mouth, cotton candy, yo. 2 fingers when you giving me a handy. No more for ya, no Mandy. These hoes, they can't stand me like any dick. Take it as it comes, boy. Dirt nasty in the motherfucking cells, boy. Woo!
I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch hard, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah. I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch hard, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah. I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch hard, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah. I really wish my dick was more than 1 inch hard, 3 inch soft, 1 inch high. I got a Benjamin Button cock, yeah.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of the Bad Suns. Is it Bad Suns or the Bad Suns? I should know this. Hang on, while I got you guys, let me look it up on iTunes or Spotify. I just got Spotify, by the way. That's how old I am. I just got Spotify. Shout out to Slut Whisperer. He was just in LA. Oh, and shout out to Young Gravy, man, the rapper. You guys know Young Gravy? Man, this dude's cool. We just met up, and he's having me play at his show in Santa Cruz, and I guess he's the hot new rapper homie on the block. I don't know who's who no more, but he was the homie extraordinary. And anyway, yeah, let me see, is it the Bad Suns or Bad Suns? You know, I should know this because I had him on my podcast. I think it's just Bad Suns. Yeah, it's not the Bad Suns. Fuck. So the intro, I said the, you know what I'm saying. Bad Suns, check them out. I think one of their definitive song is Cardiac Arrest. Check that one out. That's my favorite one. They might feel differently. You know how it goes. Like, they probably like, oh, no, listen to this shit, whatever. But, yeah, all their shit's dope. They got an album in 2016 called Disappear Here. 2014 called Language and Perspective. They got some other new shit, too, and they're on tour. They're on tour right now. So I need you guys to go out and check your, like, local regalia and see if they're playing in a hood near you. I believe it's just a North America tour. So anyway, go check out the homies. And here's that free bona fide bonus dirt nasty cut for your dick.
The biggest questions of life, right here. I'm gonna give you the fucking answer. Everybody's looking for it. What's my purpose? People always ask, how do you find your fucking purpose? Motherfucker, it ain't about you. Quit calling it your purpose. Cause wanna know what your purpose is? It's other people. The second you decide to be that quality example, the second you decide to bring up everybody around you, watch what the fuck happens. Motherfucker, it ain't about you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Is it really about you? You should have your shit in check. A man should never be sitting there thinking, I need this. This is what I need. Motherfucker, I don't need shit. How about that? I don't need fucking shit. This is a question I get like 1,400 times a day. Well, what time do you go to sleep then? Because I need 8 motherfucker. Because I need 8 hours. Fuck you. Fuck you. These motherfuckers, man. What book did you read to get mental strength? I want mental strength. I need discipline. You need so much goddamn shit. That's what's holding you back. I don't need shit. I'll go to bed at 10, getting up at 2:45. Guess what? Don't need more than that. I don't get more than that. I don't negotiate negotiate with my plan. Oh well, I didn't get enough sleep. Who gives a fuck? Keep it moving. So they're telling me that you need X amount of sleep, that you need certain amounts of days off. Well, guess what? I feel like I'm fucking different. I just do in my heart. I feel like I'm different. So guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and get less. I'm gonna go ahead and do more. How about that? That's what I'm gonna do. Notice how these rules they set for us are always placating what we really feel like doing. They're never placating the harder side of shit. Because people always ask me how people build muscle in the pen, how fools get big in the pen. It's because they got fucking heart. It's because they fucking force growth. They don't say, oh, I'm limited. I don't have weights. I don't have the right amount of food. Same fucking thing with mental strength. Force that shit. How many things can you do today that you don't want to do? Force yourself to do them. That's mental strength. That's overcoming. That's discipline. That's commitment. Now do that for 10 years. Watch how mentally strong you are. Motherfuckers can't even do 10 years without breaking from their damn goals. Can't even do it out here. You can't do it in there. So what books do I read for self-help? You like reading? Yeah. Don't do it then. That's self-help. Once you take away everything you like doing and do everything you don't want to do, now you're going to be in control. Now you're going to be used to doing what you don't want to do. When you have to go, when you feel like going and drinking, when you feel like going and smoking or whatever the fuck you do, now you're in control. Mind over matter. We only use 4% of our brain or some shit like that. So stop limiting yourself with these fucking beliefs that everybody needs X amount of sleep, everybody needs X amount of calories, everybody needs this and that. Everything you need is what makes you a bitch. Need less, live harder. We are extremely fortunate. Have a great fucking day. Never worry about your delivery. Mind over matter. Everything you need is what makes you a bitch. Everything you need is what makes you a bitch. Get everybody in your life where they need to go. No exceptions. The key to self-mastery is through what we ingest. If we're consistently ingesting shit that we regret, if we're consistently ingesting shit that causes us to fucking fill our heads with negativity, if we're consistently acting in a fucking manner that we cry about later, like these supposed tough guys, myself included, this was a self-realization I came to that was painful. Fuck you. Everything you need is what makes you a bitch. Everything you need is what makes you a bitch. These are actions. These are not fucking mere words we say. These are not books we fucking read. Quotes are the wisdom of the ages. But when you fucking agree with a quote or a saying or a phrase or some motivation, if you don't apply that to your motherfucking life, you will fall under what is called the law of diminishing intent.